Studying abroad is meant to be a life-changing experience for young Americans. You meet people of different interests, races, creeds, and cultures, and you learn from professors who have an array of academic backgrounds and experiences. In most instances, the experience is positive and worthwhile. But there are times when the challenges of studying abroad, especially in non-English speaking countries, can be overwhelming. Eda Yazar, Youngstown State University junior majoring in business administration, has spent the past 4 months in Tokyo, Japan, and can't wait to come home. She flies out Wednesday. We talked to Eda last month and found that she was unhappy being overseas and angry with YSU officials who she said failed to give her the moral support and guidance she needed while in Japan. She was so distraught with her early experience that she contemplated coming home immediately. But she battled it out and is now wrapping up her stay. We invited Eda to join us today to talk about her roller coaster experience and her opinion of the study abroad program offered by YSU. I'm Cynthia Rickard, co-host of the Scribbler podcast, joined by my colleagues, Dr. Taji Terrell and Bertram de Souza.
All right, Eda, thanks again for joining us. So you're flying home on Wednesday after what has been a challenging time for you in Japan. So, talk about your experience as a study abroad student, both academically and personally.
Hi, guys. I'm Eda. I think academically, it's been pretty okay. I enjoy campus a lot. I really like some of my classes. I had one online class that I didn't really like, but I don't like any online class really. They're kind of just like hard to engage in.
Was that the macroeconomics class?
No, that class was in person, unfortunately. The whole class was about the Rust Belt. So I left America to learn about my part of America. Like I was like, okay, whatever. And it kind of was like a busy work type of class.
Yeah.
But I like campus is really nice and the classes were pretty okay. The professors are very nice. I don't know if they changed depending on your department, but the ones I had were nice. Personally, outside of school, I thought it was really hard to make friends. And a lot of people say that there's a lot of things to do here. I didn't get that vibe. I think you can do as much here as you can in like Youngstown, Ohio. Like go shopping and drink, and like that's like the extent of the things to do. There are a lot of.
Is that on campus or off, Eda?
That's off. I don't live near campus, so I don't know what near campus got going
You
on.
didn't really participate in any campus life.
No, I didn't know about any campus life things that were going on. I got at the beginning there were like people that stood out and try to like get you to join their clubs and stuff like that, but a lot of them were like Japanese, and I got one that was like American, but it was like a Catholic based group. That's pretty much my experience. There's a lot of like festivals and stuff like that here because they're like Buddhist here, I think the majority of them, and they have like a lot of different gods. So there's always different types of festivals going on. The festivals are pretty cool, but I mean, I think personally, like them too, like you walk around and it's like food vendors and things like that, and then that's it for that too.
So just to recall, you wanted to study abroad, and so you went through YSU's program and did whatever preparations you had to do. There was an expectation you were going to get support from YSU, not only verbally, but also if you needed help in maneuvering and making your way through applications and all of that. But when you decided to apply to go to Japan, what were your expectations? What did you hope to accomplish?
I was thinking it was more going to be like on campus living like any other university. Like I was in a dorm when I lived out in Pittsburgh and I went to school out in Pittsburgh and I stayed in a dorm. And I figured it would just be like that, like dorm living, like the real college experience, you know?
I feel like part of your problem was living so far from campus.
I think so too, because yesterday I went to a dorm with my roommate, to like other people's dorms.
Right.
And it was so nice. Like, guys, it was so nice. I was so jealous. They had this area like to play pool, and like all the other students were like down in this like common area. Like, oh, it was so nice. And I was like, I really got gypped on like living and like that experience. And I think I would have definitely had a different
Well,
experience
were
if
the dorms reserved for Japanese students or for anybody? And so why weren't you given a dorm room? What happened?
the dorms are like you
Last time
have to up
we were very limited.
yeah, they're very limited and you have to apply, and it goes based off like a lottery system. So just because you
Oh,
apply doesn't mean you automatically get it. It's a computer that picks random students out. And I think there are specific ones for Japanese students. There's also specific ones for the international students as well. But since there's like so many students, it's really hard to get a dorm.
It's difficult
So
for me to understand because the research that I did on this university indicates that it's like one of the major universities in the country. The fact that they
yeah.
have so few dorm rooms seems just
yeah,
unbelievable to me.
I think
And
it's I think it's really weird too.
well, and the other
But
problem that I could see is uh, YSU gave you no help in getting a dorm room, indicating where you should be staying. So
no, they
go
didn't.
through with us how you went through the process of applying. Once you decided you wanted to study abroad, who did you talk to? Were there in-person meetings? Did you have applications that you made through the international office? What happened?
I told my counselor about it, and my counselor said, "Oh, like reach out to the international department." So I did. That's what I did.
You're talking
And
about
they
your
said,
academic counselor?
"Yeah, my academic advisor, yeah." And she said, "Oh, reach out to the
International.
international, yeah, department." And so I emailed them, and they said, "Oh, there's an orientation meeting on so and so date." So I went to the orientation meeting, and they basically just gave you the rundown, like you're going to be gone for this long. You pay YSU tuition, like just basic information. They said the countries that you could apply to, things like that. And then you went online and applied to the university. And then the university
Actually gave
emailed
you a
me.
list of the countries that you could apply to?
Yeah, I mean, it was like all information you could have just found on their website. Like nothing that was new information to me, at least, because I was looking into it prior. And then I applied to the university here in Japan, and they emailed me, said I got accepted. And then I told the study
International.
abroad people, yeah, I told the international people, and then that was basically like the end of the help there. And then I filled out the
Well,
paperwork by myself, submitted it for my visa, things like that, and
they
then
didn't follow up with you to see how things were going or whether you had any problem with the forms or the applications or anything?
no, and when I did, I just emailed them, and she like I remember like one time I was having a problem with the visa part of it. And she was like, she printed it out and it like printed weird. So on a huge sheet of paper, it literally was like just the corner of it, like it all like condensed into the corner of it. She's like, no, just turn in that. Like that'll be fine. That'll be fine. And so I had to like literally like go back and reprint it anyways and fill it out myself again. And then I had to scan it and send it in. Like, no, everything like fell on me. And then even
So
like class,
at this orientation meeting, when they were telling you going over the countries that were available to go to, did they give you any kind of background on each of the countries, what you might be getting into, anything about the culture, the language, the housing situations, you know, the people in the country, where you would be going, anything to kind of acclimate you or give you more information so you could make a choice?
no, like it was like literally like just the basic rundown of what was gonna happen. Just basically, oh, you have to apply. And then like they told you about like fees and stuff like that. And that was it. They didn't, no, they didn't give you rundowns on each
So
country.
who arranged for the housing? Did you have to do that on your own, or did they give you a list of possible housing sites? Did YSU say to you, okay, if you don't have a dorm room, here are some possible, here are student housing that's available. We you can, if you want, we'll reach out to see if there's available spaces. Was any of that given to you? Any of that information?
Not that I'm recalling. And I remember like I had brought up the issue with her, like with the international people before, and I was like, oh, what about housing?
Yeah.
First of all, you had to apply for the dorms, and they didn't tell me that. They didn't even say like, oh, apply this date to these dorms. Like I just found out by myself
The
through,
online for when you went to the online information about the university, it didn't tell you that you had to apply at certain times.
no, not YSU didn't tell me that. No, I went to like Waseda's
That's what I mean.
website.
Did
Yeah,
Waseda
no,
didn't
yeah.
they
You
didn't
don't
say
know
on their
Waseda.
site?
But no, Waseda did say on their website, apply this time, this time. So I, like through my own research and looking, I found out that, oh, I have to apply for these dorms. And through, I'm in this like Reddit for the university. And so I got a lot of my information through that. And there was a Discord that I joined that was also like the university.
So
It was like just student
I
run,
remember
but
you telling me that when you talked to one of the folks involved in this about your housing, that she said, just wait till it's closer to the time and we'll figure it out.
yeah, she did. She did say that. And I was like, oh, okay. And you know, I was like naive too. Like I've never done this, and you're
Right.
supposed to like trust these people who are
Yes.
supposed to know what they're doing. So that's what I did. And it
So
obviously didn't get me very far.
how did you find your housing then? Was there a list on Waseda about available housing for students who couldn't get into the dorms?
Yeah, I mean, Waseda, I think, did have like a list. And then I had a friend who, not really a friend, but maybe like an acquaintance who lived out here who also gave me like a list of classes to look into. But you know, when the dorms are full too, the things around campus fill up really quickly as well. So it's like just the housing problem is just wow. And that was an issue with a lot of the other students too, with housing.
Were there a lot of students in the location that you're? I don't even. Is it an apartment complex you're living in?
Yeah, yeah, basically an apartment complex. My roommate said that we're in like a better part of town, actually. I mean, it doesn't feel like that, but that's what she said. She said we're in like a good part of town,
So are there
good
a
part
lot
of
of other
Tokyo.
students living in that complex as well, or no?
No, no, anybody can live here. Like the girls upstairs, one girl was like just touring. A lot of tourists come through. A lot of internship people. Like anybody can live here.
You know, and it might be of interest to you to know that you aren't the only one who had a bad experience with YSU. We sent
Really?
YSU 2 emails after our first podcast with you, inviting them to join us to talk about the study abroad program, how it's conducted, how, you know, what rules and regulations are followed, what experiences students have, et cetera, and never heard back from them. And it's almost as though once you are enrolled and once you've left the country, they wash their hands off you and said, okay, she's over
Really?
on the other end of the globe. To hell with her.
It's disturbing to me that they don't want to explain the program.
After we talked the first time, you sent an email, or a text or email. You sent a message to one of the individuals at YSU, and this was in June. It was June 20th, June 19th. And you said, I want to leave. It was shocking for me when I read that, because my reaction was, my God, how bad has it to be that you were ready to come home? So talk about what was going on with you emotionally, mentally, and you know, why you were pushed to this point.
I think it was like mostly my classes. Like they're making me pay this YSU tuition, and like basically none of my classes are gonna transfer over. Like I just felt like it was such a waste of my time. You know, I'm paying all this money to be here, and they didn't even have the decency to give me a list of classes that were gonna actually relate to my degree and actually get me like somewhere like further. And like I thought I was gonna come here and I was gonna like graduate at least a semester early, because
Right.
I've spent my whole summer in school for no reason, like basically no reason. Like none of these classes are going to go towards like to my degree really. Like it was just such a waste of time.
Are you sure?
And
I mean, did they say none of those courses transferred?
they gave me like course equivalents, but the course equivalents were like, I know like one of them was like Asian policies, and I'm a finance student. Like it's not going to do anything for me. And then I haven't like there were two
That
classes
that
that
count
were like,
elective?
huh? Yeah, they were like, yeah, they were electives, but electives are so easy. You know what I mean? I didn't have to go 6,000 miles away to take an elective. Take two electives. Basically, two electives were going to go onto my transcript, like that were going to equivalate. And like, I just didn't need to come to Japan to take an elective. You know what I mean? And then I remember even heard like the study abroad people saying,
So
oh,
how
well,
courses that are related to finance that you took there?
there was like an HR management class, and there was like a macroeconomics class that I'm not going to pass, so I'm going to have to retake it anyways. Um, and there was one other class, but it was like a serious elective that wasn't finance based. It was just such a waste of time, I think.
Talk about that macroeconomics class and the problems that you had with it.
That class was terrible. It still is terrible. So basically, the class went off of two grades. It was 40% your midterm and then 60% your final. I had emailed the professor early on in the semester, and I had told him, hey, I'm not really that good of an economics student. Do you have any other resources and stuff like that I could uh, like use to do better in the class? And is there any study groups you know of that I can join? And he said no to both of them. He was like, no, you'll be okay. Don't worry about the midterm. And then I failed the midterm so badly.
Uh,
And like, I mean, terrible, so
So how
bad.
about your final? When is your final?
I actually took it last week, Wednesday. I took it Wednesday, but I haven't like since I did. Oh, so, okay, so I did my midterm, found it, and I had emailed him. I said, "Hey, so I'm probably not going to pass the final if I did so poorly on this midterm, and I'm probably not going to pass this class. What should I do?" And he was like, "Oh, like the class is going to be curved. Like, why do you say that? Like, sure you have to do a lot better on the final, but you know, um." like don't give up yet. And I was like, hey, like no, like I'm just being realistic. Like I don't need you to give me false hope that I can do it because I know I'm not going to. Like I just need to know next steps. And he never responded back to me. I was like, oh, okay. So I took my midterm and never went back to the class. And I didn't open a single note up, and I just like went into the final and just filled it out basically and turned it in and left.
And
Like just to turn it, just to
Hey,
literally fill
Eda,
it in.
who selected the courses, the classes you were going to take in Japan?
I did.
Based
I
on
had to select them.
based on what? Because
Based off of hopes and dreams, Bertram.
did your academic advisor sit down with you and say, okay, you want to take these classes, here are the ones that you have chosen, here are the ones that will transfer, here are the ones that you don't need, here are the ones that have nothing to do with your major, unless you want to learn about how to dress in a kimono. Did anyone sit down with you at YSU and say, okay, you're going to be studying in a foreign country, here are the things you need to know, here are the things you need to be aware of, especially academically, especially in the classroom?
No, nobody said anything about anything. I know when I did have to register for classes, just was told, here's some of your courses here, and she'll find the equivalents. Was this lady? She was like, and I had reached out to her. I was like, hey, I'm stressed out. Like I don't know what classes to take. She was like, oh, we should have done this just way before you even left. We should have picked out your classes. And I was like, yeah, I know, but like too late. I'm already in Japan. Like I need these classes. And she was like, oh, just let me know what classes you take. Like so she didn't even give it to me. And then I reached out to the abroad people, and I had sent them my classes, and I was like, hey, I'm taking these classes, but I don't even know if they're gonna fit into my major. And the lady was like, oh, I'm sure we'll find equivalents to these. But I didn't want to just take random classes. Like I wanted to take classes that were related to my major.
Right.
how did you determine them yourself?
I just try to look at they had like a catalog. I just try to look at the catalog and compare it to my transcript.
And before you enrolled in the classes, you didn't get approval from YSU, or
No,
then
I didn't.
did you send
No,
them?
they were just,
Did you send them the classes you were planning to take?
yeah, I did. And literally the lady literally said something along the lines of like, oh, I'm like, no need to worry. I'm sure these classes will be all right. Something like that. They weren't. It didn't relate at all.
YSU. In the past, I had many students who who did study abroad, and they would always email me and they would say, do you think those courses, I'm trying to pick one of those courses, which one will transfer based on my curriculum plan? And I would go through the description of the courses and look at them and then tell them, okay, if you take this course, that could be transferred as this course in your, program. And then they would take those courses. So I don't know if that is not happening anymore. I mean, I would always get those emails from students, or even if it's
Were
not.
you acting as an academic advisor, Taji?
Well, in my program, we didn't have any academic, well, we had an academic advisor, but I personally advised a lot of my students because they trusted me more and they would always come to me just to make sure. I mean, the international office was very much involved, but back then there were also a lot of people working at the international office.
Like how many?
The head of international office was, I believe, a much more senior position than what it is today. Today it's just a director, but in the past there was a provost of international
They
programs, right?
they
Vice
they did
vice
say
provost of international programs or something like that. And then they had other people engaged in, like, if you are doing a faculty-led study abroad versus other kind of study abroad versus if you are working to recruit students for YSU from
Well,
other.
I'm asking how many because I've looked at their page and they still have a half a dozen or so people in that office, which seems to me to be an adequate number of staff that could be handling this stuff. They don't have hundreds of students studying abroad. And these are taxpayer dollars that are paying their salaries. I mean, I'm just appalled at the lack of help and involvement that came from that office for not just for Eda, but for any student that's going abroad. I was an exchange student. I know how it works. I went to a country without anybody being there. I didn't know anybody, and had to meet people. I know how that works, but I got orientations and I got a lot of assistance and I got support throughout the year that I was there. The way that this is being handled just seems inadequate to me, totally inadequate, particularly since they're paid by taxpayers.
Well, but I have a feeling that YSU is going to respond by saying, listen, these are college students. These are not high school kids. They're in college. They are college students. They have to take the initiative. But it's obvious that academically or from the study part of being abroad has been a great disappointment and a failure in your eyes. But is there anything good that has come out of your trip to Japan? Is there anything positive? Are you, can you sort of, tell when you get home, tell people, oh yeah, this is what I liked about Japan. Or has it been so bad that you're not even going to talk about it?
the good part about Japan, I mean, it's really safe here. Like, you can go out and like at 3 a.m. as like a single female, and I've never been scared or anything like that. Um, Public transportation is pretty good here, although it's pretty expensive, which I've heard from a couple other students too.
Hmm.
Um, one one student from like Singapore said it's capped at $2 here, or in Singapore it's capped at $2. And but here, you have to, like, to get to school, I have to take two different trains. So I get off one train and have to jump right onto another one.
Hmm.
But it like
Is it expensive for you even with the exchange rate? How is the exchange rate?
it's like $1 is equal to like 150 probably yen.
Yeah. So what positives can you talk about having spent time in Japan?
I mean, I went out and did it. It's good for my resume. Um, I'm definitely gonna do it again, like maybe for my master's. I know like Europe has like a lot of programs for international students, and I'm gonna apply for one of them hopefully in the future. I don't know. I think YSU like really did me dirty. Like they really ruined my experience for sure. it's like the whole thing just was terrible, and I blame them for it, for like the lack of information and support and just like awareness. I'm definitely gonna fill out a student complaint form when I get back.
How old are you?
22.
22. And you're a single female, 22 years old, going to a foreign country, a non-English speaking country. Would you advise others like you, single females who are 22, 23, 21, who want to go study abroad, to go to a country where English is not the first language and not the main language? Or would you advise them to go to a country where English is spoken widely?
I think I would say to go to a country that English is spoken widely, honestly. Unless you have like background, obviously, in the
Right.
language that you're going to. But okay, even in Japan, if you go like up to Kyoto and like Osaka, which are just cities more like north,
Right.
even like English there is more widely spoken than down in Tokyo, which is kind of crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
But
That's
it's
true.
like they said it's like more touristy,
yeah.
which is kind of crazy because you'd think like Tokyo is very touristy, but even in Tokyo though, there are some buildings that say like no foreigners. Like
Really?
they don't, yeah, like they don't. Yeah, even like one time, me and my other roommate and a couple of like other people, we were trying to go somewhere local, and I would say I was with like four girls. It was like probably three out of the four girls spoke Japanese, and we walked into this building, and the lady, we were trying to go to this like bar next door, but the owner told us to go into that one because they were full. And we walked in, and the lady like told us no because she thought we didn't speak Japanese. Like she was trying to kick us out of the restaurant. And then we told her that we spoke Japanese, and she was like, "Oh, okay, like come, like sit down, sit down." But yeah, like a lot of places, they'll say like no vacancy or something like that. And a lot of places like under will be like, "Oh, if you speak Japanese, like if you can read this, like come inside, like it's fine."
Is that
Yeah,
because they don't have English speaking staff there that would be able to
yeah.
understand you if you don't speak Japanese?
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason. Yeah, is because they just don't want to deal with it. Don't want
Hmm.
to deal with the language barrier. But yeah, I would definitely recommend maybe in English, unless also like if you're really into the culture, which I like Japan, I'm really not, you know. But that's just
Were you, did you hope that that would develop since you chose Japan to go to?
no, not really.
Well,
No,
what were your expectations in going to Japan? What did you hope to accomplish given your major?
I don't know. I really wanted to first knock a semester off of the ends. Like I thought, because you take summer classes to
Right.
finish early. Like that's the whole point of taking summer classes, so you can finish early. So I thought that, and then I backpacked
You
around
could have done
Europe.
that. You could have done that anywhere. You didn't necessarily have to do that in Japan. So what made you decide to go to Japan?
Well, I mean, I think I said this last time, but it was like there was only like four or five countries you could go to, and so I just picked Japan because like everybody talks so highly of Japan.
Hmm.
But I mean, for the experience for sure.
When I think of Japan, I think of that it would have worked into your major as as a business capital of the world, and there's known to be such hardworking people and industrious and
No, and they
determined.
are. They
Yeah.
are. But a lot of Japan is like you have to at least know Japanese pretty fluently in order to get pretty far here.
I think this is
You know what I mean?
true for any country. I mean, if you're coming to the United States to live here, and if you don't speak English, you have a terrible experience. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
understand what people are saying. You can't make friends. You can't do anything if you don't speak English here, right?
Mhm.
I mean, unless like you're Spanish and you live in a Spanish area, maybe you can manage. But otherwise, you don't really get to experience the culture. And I think that's what happened with you being in a place where English is not widely spoken. But also, I think you lost you lost out a lot because you couldn't spend time on campus with
Yeah.
other students. And I mean, you could blame YSU for that, not helping you with that because they should have known that this is the experience of other students. Um, but, mainly I think that's it. But otherwise, would you recommend any student to go to Japan and experience it?
Honestly, yeah, I would. I would just tell them to live closer to campus. But like I said, like Japan is so safe and it is really cheap to go to because I mean the dollar is a lot stronger here
Mhm.
than
Would you
their
recommend
yen.
they go to Tokyo or elsewhere?
I think, I mean, I've only been to Kyoto and Osaka one time and it was only for a couple days, but it's supposed to be a lot more touristy and more English friendly there than Tokyo. And I feel like it was like a lot calmer too. Like if you don't
Mhm.
like city life, you're not gonna like Tokyo because it's like if you take the train an hour and get off, you're still in Tokyo. Like it's all city here. And I think Osaka and Kyoto were more like just chiller vibes, I think. Calmer.
So you spent time in Japan, didn't really, was not inspired by the culture, was it not inspired by the food and all, but then you took a side trip and went to Thailand, and you said that you really loved it there, and
Yeah.
that is a non-English speaking country, and so what was it about Thailand compared to Japan that sort of attracted you?
The elephants.
I oh yeah. I think also in Thailand I was like a tourist. Like I was just vacationing, like I was having fun. And Thailand's so beautiful. And I was like beachside, like I wasn't by the city.
Yeah.
Um Thailand's just so beautiful and I think like even though it's not English speaking, they're like more friendly anyways. You know what I mean? Like you can just tell that they're friendly people
Hmm.
and that they're nice. Like, you know what I mean? Like um I just Thailand was just such a trip. Like
Do you
I would
find
definitely go back to Thailand.
do you find that the culture in Japan is just more formal and than as open as Americans are to folks who don't live here or come from other cultures or other countries? I kind of get the impression that um, it's Japan and Japanese. It's kind of an insular culture, unlike the
Mm.
United States, where we're kind of a mix of everyone. So when new people come in from wherever, they're more apt to be accepted. Do you find that the Japanese culture is sort of exclusionary to foreigners?
Yeah, I think so. And I also think they're just very to them like they're just very introverted. Like and they're perfectionist here, so if they do know English, they don't speak it to you because they don't like speak it fluently and they know that and they're just like, oh, like, you know, I'm embarrassed like to speak it, I guess, kind of vibes. Yeah, I would
Do you
say
think that
that.
that's any different though anyplace else?
I think so.
I
Here
mean,
it's like another level.
is it?
I
I mean,
to New
yeah,
York. I mean, Tokyo is a big city. Uh, Maybe New York is more comparable. How would you think that, people who are not from the US who don't speak English would be treated in New York by people? I mean, I feel like New York wouldn't be friendlier.
I know that's what I like New York, I don't know because
But her family's
you
from
know,
New
New
York,
York, yeah, New York is like
so
New Yorkers are New Yorkers, you know what I mean? Like they're very, I don't know, but
Aggressive.
yeah, they're very aggressive people. But
Yeah.
they're
here,
abrasive, but
So, I mean, I think in Tokyo, everybody is more work oriented.
yeah.
People are working. I mean, who do you run into? If you are on the train or public transportation, you run into people who are going to work, right? So,
yeah,
when you visited the dorm, were there other Japanese students there? Were they friendly with the other international students at the dorms?
I don't know. I was like with a group of people, so I don't know if
But the
like
group didn't include any Japanese students?
mm, there was one Japanese, and yeah, I mean he spoke fluent English though. So I don't
Oh,
know. And he, I mean, I was in the group, so he talked to me, but you know, I was with them, like, um, and there were like other students there too, but they were like studying and doing their own thing. You know what I mean?
So
The dorms are so nice, guys.
was it,
I missed
you
out.
have traveled extensively, through Europe, and then of course you've been back to Turkey several times. Um, how would you compare your experiences there in Europe and to your experience in Japan?
I think in Europe, if you're in like this like a touristy city, it's very like I think more open. I mean, if you get more, countryside of these like
Right.
places, obviously like, obviously like less people speak English and it's harder to get around, whatever. But I think in Europe they're more like touristy friendly than in Japan. Especially like I heard like in Tokyo, especially like they do not want the tourists. You know
hmm.
what I mean? And a lot of places too. This is a good example. Like, um, if they give you an English menu, the prices can be like higher on the English menu
All
than
right.
on the Japanese menu. And my last roommate said that if they know you're a tourist, they might give you like the bad meat. Like, you know what I mean? Like the meat that goes out that day rather than like the meat that they just got in. And they might give you the vegetables that, are kind of dull and don't look good. Like if they know you're they just because they know they
Did
don't
she
need
know
like you're
that? I
gonna
mean,
leave.
was she just assuming that, or did she know that?
I think I would say that she knew that because her major was Japanese. Like that
Oh, what?
was
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, and she had been there for like probably like 10 months at that point. But like because they know like we don't need them to be loyal to us because they're gonna go home.
right.
Like
we're going home.
we don't
Yeah,
need their money type of vibe.
yeah.
Mm. That's
So,
interesting.
And I guess to like a tourist, like it would make no difference, you know what I mean?
So
Really
Yeah.
to us.
you look at it,
yeah, I imagine it'd be different if you were part of a tour group. If you went like one of the tour group or tour companies and went to Japan, I think imagine your experience would be much different than you being alone, trying to find your way around, not having any friends or not having any guide to help you. Um, so you said when you get back, you're going to um, do write a letter or do an evaluation of your study abroad,
Oh yeah. I'm
and
gonna cook them, Bertram.
you,
Like cook them up in my student complaint form. I'm literally like they should be scared. I'm gonna cook them.
Well,
so I'm still trying to. What did they not do at the very beginning that would have perhaps influenced you as to whether or not you really wanted to go to Japan? Uh, for example, had somebody from YSU said to you, "You're 22 years old, you're a single female, forget about Japan. You're not going to like it there. The people are different, the culture is different, they're not an open society, they're not really friendly. You're not in Youngstown, Ohio, where you know everybody." You know, I would you have then sort of reevaluated your decision to go to Japan if somebody had said that to you?
Yeah. Or you know what they could have done too is just been like, hey, Japan might not be a good fit for you, but you can go here instead, and that would work out way better for you. But no, they didn't tell me anything. They just it was just like, oh yeah, go ahead. There was the website did like when you were applying, you could do like kind of like a survey thing, but it was more like what do you prioritize? Housing, um, language. It was like practical things, not really like personal. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's also the other problem, and that is your own background. I mean, you have such a large support system here in Youngstown. You've got your family, you've got your mother you're very close to, you've got Cindy and Tarji, who sort of have adopted you somehow and made you part of their life. And so, not everybody has that experience. And so when you go and travel alone and you don't have that kind of support system, it does get difficult. And so I'm wondering if your failure to make friends is the result of you having such a large support system here at home?
I
Well,
mean,
you can answer that, but then I'll chime in on that too.
Go ahead.
well, I made friends like the people who live in my building.
Right.
Like me and my roommate are close. Um, I just didn't make friends that were go to the university.
What I would say, Bertram, is when she went on the European tour, she was a solo traveler. She didn't know anybody on that tour before she left. And she has friends that she vacated with from that tour. So I don't think
Yeah,
it's a
I see them
matter
next month.
of her inability to make friends or needing a support system. And also when she went to school in Pittsburgh, she knew nobody and ended up being in a dorm with roommates that she didn't know and was fine there too. So I don't think that was the problem.
Yeah, I mean, Eda is a pretty independent person. She can figure things out. I mean, she did figure a lot of things out by herself there. But I think, the Japanese people being more introverted was probably one of the reasons. And I find the biggest problem being that you were far away from campus life.
Yeah. You know what? And it really wasn't the university's fault. Like the campus was beautiful. Like I really enjoyed like my time on campus. I just wish my courses were more directed towards my actual degree and not more so like electives and just like dilly-dally. Um,
I mean, were those courses
Your electives, are they going to be of any help to you at all?
I mean, probably not. Just I know I have two electives that will um go on my degree, like go on to my actual transcript. Um, but the rest of them, no. It's more of like a resume buffer, I feel like. I
But
do
I
this as a
mean,
resume buffer.
were you taking classes in a finance program in Japan?
No, it was like social sciences. That was another thing too that I'm upset about YSU is that this is not really like financed like my
So there was no
the
finance program in that university?
no there is, but I I I don't think that was an option to apply there. Like I wish YSU had been like, oh, like hey, you're a finance major, like this one's like this university's like finance. Like this is like social sciences. Like this is like
So
I don't
that was
know.
the only one you could apply?
I think so, if I'm remembering. I mean, this was like probably like 6 months ago now at this point, but if I'm remembering correctly, like yeah, I don't think I could apply to the finance part, and I don't know how many English courses they would have had. Like the
Oh, okay.
program in an hour, I think is more
Maybe they
directed
didn't
to
have
English.
English.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have their finance program in English open to
Yeah,
interns. Maybe that's the issue. Well, I mean, I'm still curious. Like, I've heard a lot of good things about Japan, and I always wanted to go to Japan. I have never been there. But I feel like, there must be something you like about the culture.
I think that they're very clean and they're considerate to other people. I've met a lot of Turkish people here.
Really?
Yeah, like the guy next door is Turkish, and the guy before him was also Turkish.
What's the draw for them to go to Japan?
The current one is interning. The last one was touring.
There are also some visa requirements that are lifted or something between Turkey and Japan. I don't know. That
Oh,
might be
really?
one reason too.
The other night when I went out with my roommate, I met two guys who were from Turkey.
So
Yeah, there's a decent amount of them.
how long have you been in Japan now, total?
I got here
When-
March 26th, probably
Okay.
like 4 months.
At the end of 4 months, your experience has not sort of become much more positive than it was when you first got there, huh?
Not really. I wouldn't come back. I mean, I'm grateful I came, but it just wasn't for me.
I think you're going
Not my
back.
cup of
I
tea.
think you're going to go back to Thailand. I have this feeling that
Oh yeah, Thailand was so nice.
you know,
I wish there was a program in Thailand because I mean the people were way more welcoming. The food was better. Um, it was just like a lot more things to do. The beaches, beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, just beautiful things going on in that country.
and it's
And
also
I
cheaper.
was
And it's a lot cheaper. Thailand's a lot more cheap than Japan is, because there's a person in Liberty who goes there at least 2 or 3 times a year, and he gets a place, a bungalow on the beach, and he says he just loves it. The food is cheap,
Yeah.
the people are friendly, the weather's great.
Yeah. I went for 5 nights and my Airbnb was like less than $200.
For the whole time.
And there was a pool. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And the beach was like a 5-minute walk. Like white sands,
Yeah, I saw the
blue,
pictures. It just
like
it looked
water.
like Caribbean.
Oh my God, it was so beautiful. I mean, I could have cried. I could cry thinking about that place. I loved it there so much. It was so nice.
Well, there is an
Thailand
elephant
was so
rescue
nice.
there you could go work at.
Yeah, but
And I'm sure
think-
the University of Bangkok has master's programs that you could attend as a, study abroad if you want to do a
yeah,
master's.
probably.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be in Babcock. I'm done with the cities.
Big cities.
I think for my master's, I'm just gonna hit the usual
European.
like Scotland,
Oxford.
England, Dublin, and then Turkey is on there too. My top choice right now is to go to Turkey for my master's.
Well, then that will be really easy because Professor Taji Terrell will establish everything for you. We'll pick your courses. We'll find you a place to
Yeah.
stay. Well, I mean, you won't even have to worry. There'll actually be a plane
Yeah.
waiting for you to take you there. Yeah.
I can get my Turkish citizenship because
Oh,
my
you do?
parents. Yeah, I can qualify for it. My Turkish citizen, and then tuition would be a lot cheaper too.
Do you have it or you can apply for it?
No, but I was like looking at it, and as long as like one of your parents is of Turkish descent,
Get it.
Hey, Ed, I need to ask you this. What is the attraction for you for studying abroad? What is it about studying abroad that, because I would have thought that after your such a horrible experience in Japan, the last thing you'd want to do was try and find another way to go ahead and study in some other foreign country. What is it about traveling overseas and studying overseas?
Well, I mean, I just like to travel, and just because maybe I didn't have a good time, I'm not ungrateful for my experience here. And I think now that I do have this experience, I can better navigate the next time I do it. And I guess like better stand up for myself too. You know what I mean?
What do you think traveling overseas does to you? Like, what is valuable for you about traveling overseas?
I mean, I think like for me personally, I just became better rounded out. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm just better. You know what I mean? And I'm better at first, like I guess like my own personal, when you're alone for even though I have my roommate, I don't know if you guys like I sleep there and she like literally sleeps like right below me. I think like spending this time like by myself, like I just learned more about myself and I'm more confident now, like, a lot of people can't like go eat dinner by themselves, like at a restaurant, whatever. But me, like that's all I've done for the last like 4 months.
Right.
So just becoming more
Eat alone
confident.
or just
going-
eat?
I've never had a problem eating. Probably I'm too confident eating. I don't know when to stop. But just going out by myself, asking questions, being more bold too, I think, and saying, hey, so this doesn't sound correct, so it probably isn't correct. Just kind of learning how to do things on my own.
What does it teach you about your own country? I mean, is there something you figured out about, being an American?
Yeah. So I've been to a lot of countries. So I don't know if I get this experience from just Japan, maybe, but traveling just in general like just teaches you that maybe your country is not the greatest country in the world because like we're very patriotic people, which I think is a good thing. But I also think like there's a lot of other countries in the world that are just doing it a lot better than America is doing it. And maybe not Japan, but like Switzerland for sure. I don't know what they are doing. I don't know what they're putting in their water, but that place is beautiful. I think for me, it just teaches me that you need to just leave your home country and at least you know, like some people in America have no desire to leave. And I think that's so crazy. Like they never want to leave the country. I think that's so wild.
Well, I mean, there are people like that in every country, but I feel like, you can sometimes tell if somebody has ever left their country or not,
I agree. Yeah.
the way they behave, or
Hmm.
because they don't understand things. And I feel like it really opens your mind when you're in another country and you experience that, and you look at your own country with a different eye and in a
Yeah.
different way. It's like being in a place or visiting a city and just going around and walking and then watching it on a drone, like just seeing everything so
Yeah.
much clearer. You know what I mean? I feel like that's
Yeah.
what it does to you.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, it also,
I agree
I
for sure.
think travel just kind of opens your eyes to the fact that there are human beings all over the planet, not just in America, which
Yeah.
a lot of non-traveling Americans kind of think that there's no other place to live but here. And when
Yeah.
you start traveling, you figure out really quickly that we have a lot in common with everybody else, and there's a lot of other places that we could live that are doing just as well as we are,
Or
Like
better.
Switzerland.
or
Yeah,
better. Or better.
yeah.
I'm trying to be kind here. I'm trying to be.
My nephew lived in and worked in Switzerland and actually
Yeah.
met his wife there, and they just loved it. But they moved to England now to be with near my sister. But he just loved Switzerland, and she did too. And you know, they lived in Basel, and he just he said it was just such a beautiful country and such a friendly country too.
Yeah.
So when do you graduate?
Bertram, I don't know. I at this point, let's just pray I do graduate. Let's just hope that I thought
You're
I was gonna
making plans
graduate.
for a master's degree. You better graduate.
I at first I was like, oh, 2026. And then my academic advisor's like, hey, since it's because I'm on a CFP track, which is basically like CP, what's the accounting one?
CPA.
CPA.
Yes, yeah, CPA. So I'm basically doing the finance version of that.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, since it's like such a specific degree type, you have like the classes offered are only, so often. You have to meet the criteria, blah blah blah. So
Right.
now she's saying 2027. I'm like, her name's Susan. I'm like, Susan, I can't do this much longer. Like I can't. Like we need to do
Yes, you
something about it.
can.
So she was like,
Yes, you can.
that's what I said. I said, Susan, pull it together, Susan. We need to figure something out here. And then she was like, okay, we'll look into financial management, see if we can switch it over, and then maybe we can get you out sooner. I was like, well, we got to do something because this is absurd. And a lot of my friends are graduating
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
you
but
know,
don't forget that you spent a year and a half, in essentially another major that you thought you were going to pursue. So you're a year and a half behind those who are going to graduate right out of high school anyway, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, I spent a year after high school, so I was a year behind them, and then I dropped out to make money to go to a different university. So I lost another year then. It doesn't really matter when you graduate, just that you graduate.
no, it really doesn't. But I just want to leave. Like I just want to finish my undergrad and I just want to work like my big girl job. You know what I mean? And make like big girl money.
You're 22.
I know, but time's a ticking, and at this rate, it's gonna cost like $500,000 to buy my first home.
Well, it depends on where you buy it.
Yeah,
Can't you give you one of hers?
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
You're gonna miss being a student.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think I've been a student too long. I think I've had enough.
when
Maybe
you
when I'm doing my
when you
master's,
leave
I'll be
the
like,
when you
man,
leave the university, you're going to miss the campus.
So there is one aspect of your whole life you haven't talked about, and that is, what does your mother think about all of it? Because I have a feeling that she's paying for a lot of these flights of fancy that you have. So what does she think about this?
I think, um, I don't know. I think she's happy that I went to because it really is a good like um experience. But You know, the first week I was gone, she was like, "Oh my God, I miss you so much." Like I was like, "Dude, it's been a week." You know what I mean? So I think she's gonna be also very happy when I come back. Or she's gonna be even more like, "Oh God, like I should have soaked in when she was gone."
Yeah,
Depends.
yeah. She
You
got
know,
used to you not being there. Now she's gonna have to get used to you being there
I
again.
know. And me and my mom, I think we do better apart than when we're together. I
Do
think
you?
we get along a little bit better.
Yes,
Well, listen,
like many.
Yeah.
I wish that you had had a better experience, but as you say, you wanted to do it, you needed to do it, and you did it. Um, you're flying out on Wednesday, flying home on Wednesday, so all the best. Have a safe trip. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for spending time with us. And when you've written that letter to YSU, but I'm sure you're going to send a copy to the president and to the
Oh
provost.
yeah, the president will be hearing from me.
Yes, and send us a copy, and we'll post it on our website.
Send
Okay,
me like a 4-page document.
that's good. Well, it might help YSU because but as you were talking, my last question I have, as you were talking, I was wondering how many people who actually work in the international program at YSU have actually traveled extensively, have actually visited other countries, have actually, gone through this whole process of knowing what it's like when you arrive at a foreign country and you hear all of these different languages and you don't know, you look at signs and they're like in a foreign language, you don't know where to go. I mean, unless you've done that, you don't have an appreciation of how difficult it is, right, Dodge?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, the International Programs Office was always very much involved. I mean, in one of my trips, one of my students got sick. He had to go through a appendicitis operation
Oh
while we
my God.
Oh, good Lord.
and it was horrible because I had like 10 students, and this is one of them, and then I have the other 9, and we are supposed to travel. Like I was the only faculty, and I did contact YSU, but I mean, they were very much involved. They arranged all the flights. They helped with, they told me, okay, there was another sick student, and she wasn't recommended to fly, and they said, okay, we are going to arrange for the other students to return, and you can stay with that student. I mean, they did everything. So they had a lot of support back then. But I think it's how much fund is allocated
Right.
to support students who are going on study abroad trips now. Because I think
Yeah.
the international office is more involved in recruiting students for YSU from other countries
Yes.
than helping students who are doing study abroad trips. And there are a lot less study abroad, faculty-led study abroad trips than before because they don't fund them anymore. They don't support
Mhm.
a lot of them anymore. So, when it's faculty-led, the faculty is involved in a lot of the details and they take care of it. They do their own orientation. But when it's all on international
Right.
office, and they don't have the funds, they don't have the staff, if it is not something that the university deems important, then they don't get the staff.
But
And,
I mean, the thing is, if they don't have the staff to do it, then they shouldn't be offering the
right.
program. Because
That's
I mean, these international students that come over, the international parents expect the university here to be responsible for them. And it should be the same for students that they're sending over there. And if they can't be responsible for their own students in a foreign country where they don't know the language, then they shouldn't be offering the programs.
yeah.
Yeah. And I know when I was applying, I had asked, "Oh, these are the only countries you guys offer," and the abroad people said, "Yeah, and that's mostly because of short staff, you know." So, and I
Uh,
don't know why they would pick the programs that they did
right.
anyways. Like they were so lame,
They canceled
but they
many
did.
of them. There were a lot more study abroad options.
Yeah. That's what she said. That she said there used to be like hundreds of them, and just because of lack
Right.
of funding and short staff and whatnot,
Yeah,
they cut a bunch of them.
at one time, one of the most popular was Russia, the study abroad
What?
in Russia. And because I knew a couple of students from Liberty who were at YSU, and they went there and they became fluent in Russian and sort of went to study in Russian. It went through YSU, and the parents were really sort of impressed with the fact that YSU had a specialist, a professor who was a specialist in Russian studies, and sort of guided that. And that's what I was,
There's not even Italian studies now. I mean,
Yeah, no, the only
that's really weird. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the only Europe programs were like in Finland and in the Netherlands. Those were the only two European countries. And no hate to those countries, but people want to go to like London and
Right.
like, Italy and Paris. Like they don't, you know what I mean? Nobody's trying to go to Finland. No offense to Finland. But
It's the happiest country on earth.
you know what? I did meet a Swedish guy the other night, and he said that Finland's the happiest country in the world, but their suicide rate is super high.
Really?
goodness.
That's what he said. I don't know. I didn't fact check him on that, but that's what he said. He said they're so happy because
That seems
all the
like
happy, unhappy.
I guess once you stop being happy, you kill yourself.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said it's because all the unhappy people just kill themselves. And that's why they're so happy. I don't know how true that is, but that's what he said.
Well, listen, thank you again. We'll talk when you get back.